Thank you very much, Mr. Nhleko, for introducing me. Mama Gracia Machel, Trust Chairperson, former Deputy Chief Justice Re Dikgang Moseneke, and Judge Yvonne Mokgoro, our religious leaders, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba and Bishop Barnabas Lekhanyane, former First Lady Me Zanele Mbeki, Vice Chancellor of the University of Witwatersrand, Professor Habib, one of the most important stakeholders, and the CEO of Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, Miss Bongi Mkhabela, the celebrant today. I'm not very sure how you feel. Thank you very much for the very kind invitation for me to participate in this historic occasion. It is a very auspicious day. It's an auspicious day for both the memory of Madiba and the children of South Africa and the region. I wish to remind us how Tata Mandela loved children with two quotes. The first one in his book, Conversations with Myself. He wrote, "I love playing and chatting with children, feeding and putting them to bed with a little story, and being away from the family has troubled me throughout my life." The second quote, in an interview with Oprah Winfrey, he said, "Not seeing them may be why I've developed an obsession with children. I miss seeing them. I miss seeing any of them for 27 years. It's one of the most severe punishments prison life can impose, because children are the most important asset in a country. For them to become that asset, they must receive education and love from their parents. And when you are in jail, you are unable to give those things to your children," close quotes. I'm sure that wherever Madiba is, he's looking down on us, and I may equally be sure that he will have been preferred of all places today to be with us here today. I'm also sure that he will have been very proud of the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, as well as the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital Trust, who have worked tirelessly to raise funds for the erection of this beautiful building. In the same vein, I wish to thank our wonderful and generous donors, without whom we will not have been able to realize Madiba's dream. And I think we owe these dedicated people a very heavy round of applause, please. I'm sure that most of us share the love of children, regardless of nationality, race, gender, or any dimension that you can think of. The care of children matters to all of us. Sadly, today, there are millions of children around the world that are not cared for adequately. It is a global crisis, and one that can only get worse if men and women of your caliber don't stand up to be counted. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, there are an estimated 151 million children worldwide with either one or both parents dead. In South Africa, as we know, the figure is 1.3 million. It makes these children vulnerable, especially when they get ill and need specialized care. This pediatric hospital is sadly only the fourth such on the whole continent of Africa. Besides the Red Cross Children's Hospital in Cape Town, there are two of these type of hospitals in Egypt. Needless to say, the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital is the newest and the most advanced. Yes, please, give it a cheer. Don't be embarrassed. Give it a cheer. It's the most advanced. The Red Cross Children's Hospital was opened 60 years ago. The situation on our continent, unfortunately, compares dismally to the developed world. As I'm mentioning that this is only the 4th hospital, I'm not very sure. I didn't check very well. I was told that there might be 1 in Kenya. Then that will make them 5. But at the moment, we believe there are 4. What is the score in the rest of the world? There are 23 such hospitals in Canada alone, 19 in Australia alone, 20 in Germany alone, 157 in the United States. We are on our 4th one on the whole continent. Given his love for children, it is not surprising that Madiba was a strong advocate for a hospital that provides health services to children. He said children have the right to be cared for and to receive the best treatment that is available when they are ill, irrespective of their economic and social status. I might like to visit this topic later if I still get time. A children's hospital will be a credible demonstration of the commitment of African leaders to place the rights of children at the forefront. Nothing less will be enough. Close quotes. The Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital has been designed to achieve this vision. We also acknowledge that the true wealth of this world rests in the well-being of our children. Madiba surely knows today that many people, especially those that have contributed to this beautiful hospital, agreed with him on the need to build this hospital that now proudly bears his name, and rightly so. The Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital will play a pivotal role in achieving the goals, especially with respect to highly specialized services for children in South Africa and the region. This hospital will be classified as a central hospital. There are only 10 of them in the country, those classified as central because of their relationship with our medical schools, and this will be the 11th one. It's not only going to treat children, but it's going to be very important for ongoing training in conditions that affect children, as well as to ensure access to research, to assist to solve the health problems that are unique to children, to increase childhood survival and decrease infant and child mortality. Besides providing highly specialized services, this hospital will also be used to train specialist health professionals. This arises from the fact that access to highly specialized health services is often limited by availability of suitably trained specialists, including pediatric nurses and allied health professionals, as well as availability of high-level equipment and appropriate infrastructure. And as you will know, in terms of equipment and infrastructure, this hospital is world-class. South Africa, like most countries on the continent, has a need for additional specialist nurses, such as pediatric nurses, neonatal nurses, and intensive care nurses. The Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital Trust has already embarked on an extensive program to train such specialist nurses, and I believe this will continue. Generally, in South Africa, because of our dubious distinction as the most unequal society in the world, generally, 80% of the specialists in this country are there to serve only 16% of the population. But when it comes to children, what is the score? We only have 10 pediatric cardiologists registered with the Health Professions Council in South Africa. And these 10 pediatric cardiologists are there to serve both the public and the private sector. There are only three pediatric clinical hematologists for both public and private sector, only 5 developmental pediatricians, only 10 pediatric clinical care specialists, and 7 pediatric oncologists in the whole country. And I have already confessed that 80% of these specialists serve only 16% of the population. It is therefore obvious that when it comes to specialized services for children, there is a great unmet need that needs to be addressed. And let me tell you, children are not small adults, as many of you might come to believe. Medically speaking, they've got very different physiological needs than to those of adults. So they need specialties that are special to them. And the figures I've given you, I'm sure, will disturb every right-thinking person. But I'm happy today to note that in this hospital, there are 48 critical care beds for these children. Why this is important is because, according to the norms from the World Health Organization, 8 to 12% of beds in a hospital must be dedicated to critical care. And in South Africa, we are averagely still at 4%. And this hospital is clear that it's reaching 16%. And it's one of the things to applaud. So this hospital is going to assist us to fill many gaps. A hospital such as Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital is an opportunity to establish a center of excellence that will not only address the essential services. Thank you. Yes, I'm thoroughly intimidated. My mouth is dry. Excuse me, it's an opportunity to establish a center of excellence that will not only address essential service need, but will also serve as a measure of the standard that can and should be achieved in all the health services that we provide. This I told to Bongi many times, that whatever they are doing, we are watching very carefully, because we are going to learn from Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital how to manage all the other hospitals. The South African government has a fundamental interest in the success of this hospital. And Mr. Nhleko, you said this hospital will not be successful without the support of the Department of Health. I want to stand here in front of you and tell you that you have got that support and you are going to get it forever. On the day the sword was turned for the building of this hospital, I could not attend. When Tata Madiba was turning the sword, I sent my late Deputy Minister, Dr. Mulifisi Fularo, and I gave him very clear instructions that go and tell Tata that we are going to support him 100%, wholeheartedly. And I'm not about to change from that. We'll still do so. More so, as Bongi knows, the only way that all children of the region can be able to utilize this hospital and have access is when the government is there to support. Otherwise, they'll need money to come in, and we know many of them do not have. So this relates not only to access to highly specialized services as a center of excellence, but also, as I've said, as a center of operational efficiency. Government has been working with the Children's Hospital Trust to look at developing a governance model for this hospital. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa asked me a question one day. He said, "Minister, please explain to me, this Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital, what type of animal is it? Where does it fit in what you are doing? Is it a private hospital? Is it a public hospital? What is it?" I said, "It's a new animal we have never seen before in the country, Deputy President." And I said, "It is very exciting because I'm looking at how this animal is going to serve, because we might have to turn all the other hospitals in the country into this type of animals." Ladies and gentlemen, allow me, before sitting down, to touch on a very important topic. And I tipped Mama Grasa Machel that I'm going to come to it. The problem in healthcare around the whole world is not only a problem of lack of facilities, it's a problem of lack of access, even in areas where there are facilities. And it has been happening for ages, for the simple reason that the financing of healthcare in 90% of the world is not in favor of those who need it. And these are women, children, and the poor. They are classified together for obvious reasons. Yes, if you check from a developing country to the most undeveloped country on this planet, healthcare financing is in favor of those who are well-to-do. Even in the public sector, healthcare financing is not in favor of the poor, it's always in favor of the rich. The time that must change has arrived. And I was very proud when last year, among the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, one of those goals was universal health coverage. And I'm dead sure that many people don't understand what it is. I want to take this opportunity to read this one sentence. It's goal number 3.8 on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It said we must achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection, access to quality essential healthcare services, and access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable essential medicines and vaccines for all. This is what this goal number 3.8 on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It has been variously described by prominent people in very glorious terms. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Margaret Chan, she says if this is achieved, it will be an equalizer between the rich and the poor. One of the best known equalizers between the rich and the poor is universal.
Well, this is the Health Minister, Dr. Motsoaledi, just addressing the delegation there at the opening of the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital. What an historic morning it's been, listening to the former Chief Justice, Dikgang Moseneke, addressing, as well as we've heard from the Vice-Chancellor, Adam Habib. It certainly is a heartwarming story, it must be said. And do yourself a favor, get onto social media and take a look at some of the photographs of this brand new facility.